Hi all, Tim here. Back in the shop, working on my Magic Factory F4U-2 Corsair. Now, this kit recently came out, and it's a dual combo kit, which allows you to build one folded wing, one unfolded wing, and a F4U-1 and an F4U-2 variant. So you can build either variant and then choose whether you want folded wing or straight wing. And then the other variant would obviously have the opposite. So I just wanted to run over really quick what this kit is. It's this one, and new company, new tool, and I have nothing but really good things to say about this kit. There's just a couple little minor things that I ran into, but nothing major. One was some of the parts, in order for them to be scaled, they didn't scale things up to make things thicker, to make them stronger or whatever. And the example that I'm going to use for that is the pitot tube. It's really thin and very fragile, and I broke it. I lost the tip of it and could not find it anywhere. It's so fragile, and that happened just trying to get it off of the tree. So that was a real bummer, and I ended up just finding a very, very small piece of scrap. I could not find anything as fine as what was on it. So I just ended up finding the smallest piece of scrap of some sort that I had. Take those off because of the reflection. Sorry. Just the smallest piece of scrap that I could find and gluing it on the end. And it's passable. I'm not thrilled about it. And yeah, I could take it from the other variant and use it and then try to get a pitot tube, but I didn't want to do that. It was already glued in. The model's finished. And I didn't want to mess around with that. So it is what it is. It still is a great kit. I also had a minor issue fitting the canopy after painting, because I installed the windshield and I installed the rear windows here and on the other side, and then I mask all those off and then I paint. But I don't install the canopy until after the fact. I wasn't sure if I was going to leave it open or closed. And in this case, I ended up with it closed. I didn't think it looked right open. It didn't fit very well. So I ended up making it closed. And in order for me to get it to fit in there, I had to file the front edge of the canopy right up in here in order to make it fit between the windshield and the fuselage, the spine, if you'd call it, in the back here. I just could not make it fit without filing that down. And it wasn't major, but it did take a little bit of work. And that could literally just be the fact that maybe, although this windshield seemed to drop right in place and fit naturally right where it was at, possibly it was back just the smallest amounts, and it could not allow that canopy to fit in there. However, it's in there now, and it fits well, and it looks good. I was originally going to have it open so you could view the cockpit, because I got one of these Lambo 3D cockpits for it, and I wanted to be able to see that. Well, it turns out you can see in this cockpit very well with that canopy installed, so I just chose to do that. The kit comes with decals for 4 different variants, although you only get the national insignias for doing 2. But some of the other personal decals, numbers, that kind of thing, they're there for 4 different versions. So we got this one, and then Midnight Cocktail, which is the one I decided to do. And then there's one more here. They all look basically the same. That's upside down, sorry. And then this one here. They all look pretty much the same, but it comes with decals for that, which is nice. It comes with two different mask sheets, one of which I've used, of course, because I already did the one. One for the Dash 2 variant and one for the Dash 1 variant. There comes with one decal sheet, which is kind of a bummer because you have to cut around all of this stuff and try to keep everything like the nomenclature and whatnot for the other variant intact. I try to keep them on the sheet just so I don't lose them, but there was some circumstances where I couldn't do that, and they ended up getting cut off. So I got these little pieces now with some nomenclature that I got to try to keep track of, and they'll go back in here, but for now that's where they're at. It comes with there's two different clear sprues and different canopies. So you got the Malcolm Hood canopy, which I used here. You can see it's got the bubble. And then a more standard canopy without the bubble for the Dash 1 variant. Clear parts are really nice, really good lines. The frames are really nice and crisp. The masks are great. I mean, the paint came out really, really well in the canopy frame. I'm really happy about that. So nothing wrong there. And for the most part, everything comes two sprues. Like this is sprue C, so there's two of these for each kit. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is the folded wing. Yeah, this is the folded wing sprue. So there'd only be one of these. But a lot of these sprues there's two of for doing each variant, and some of them there's one, and then there's just the same pieces on one sprue. So that's nice. I save everything, even anything that was potentially left over on other sprues. I save everything until I have both variants done. You just don't know when you might need something. I have a whole box of old parts and stuff back here from other kits, and I just keep because you just never know when you're going to need something. And you know, it happened today. I needed to fix that pitot tube, and so I ended up getting a scrap for that. This particular variant does not have an antenna wire, which I like the antenna wires because just it adds character. But this one does not have it. I researched that, and these did not have the antenna wire. I found some actual photographs. Also, the prop hub is black. And I could not find actual photos of this particular airplane. However, I did find a photo of one from the 532nd VMF 532 that had that had the black hub. So I figured, okay, well, they probably all had black hubs then. I don't know why they would paint those, but nevertheless, the first Corsair I built that has a black hub instead of shiny, or not necessarily shiny, but aluminum. So a little bit different, just a little bit different. This kit's really cool because it comes with the gun bays and everything. So detailed gun bays. And this is also the Night Fighter variant. Okay. So on this particular wing, there's only two guns. And the other one, you can see, if you can see that, is blocked off. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe there. And so, yeah, the other side has three guns. You can see that. And it's cool. You got the doors and everything, so you can display it all open. And I really like that. The one thing I could not find and verify was the installation of these two doors here. I could find photos of the gun bay, this gun bay door open, so it hinges. I could not find photos of these if they're just removable and they just set off to the side, or if they're meant to hinge like this. All I could find was other modelers that had built them and they did this. So I banked on the idea that they found that information and what they did is right. So I went with that because I didn't want to like glue them on the top of the wing so you could still see in the bays or whatever. I just didn't want to do that. I wanted them to be in like an open position, not just removed. So that's what I ended up doing. Did some weathering. This is all painted with Vallejo Air tricolor scheme, and then weathered down. Used dark sea blue, and then I used dark sea gray to tone it down a little bit, just to bring to fade it a little bit, I guess you could say. I misted some coats, did some kind of a splotchy work just to kind of bring it down a little, and that worked pretty well, I think. I really don't know how well that shows up on the camera here. And then used washes to weather it down. I've got fuel running down here from the fuel tanks. Weathered down the insignias, weathered down the paint everywhere. You can see what I did on the bottom. Oh, you know what? I just realized I didn't put the exhaust stacks on. So I guess I'm not quite done yet. However, it will be done yet here very shortly. So we're going to have to do that, spray a little exhaust on it, and then it'll be done. But overall, a really, really great kit. I would recommend it. And again, the cool thing is you get two of them for the price of one. Some of these kits, I mean, some kits are so expensive. I shouldn't say two for the price of one, because this is a fairly expensive kit. I think it was probably pushing up near about $90, I think. So yeah, so that would make them like $45 a piece. And for the quality of this kit, it's well worth it. Zero fitment issues other than what I talked about with the canopy there. But again, that could have been me. That might have been my fault, not the kit's fault. I'll tell you though, there are some fiddly parts on this thing, and getting the gun bay doors glued in place with the opening supports. You can see, maybe you can see those supports in there. I tell you, those supports were tricky to get in there, and get in the right position. And it took a little bit, but I got them. No bigs. Yeah, so highly recommended. I would definitely consider buying another one of these kits to have on hand for the next time I want to build Corsairs. This particular one I was putting together, I want to do a show coming up here in Michigan, an IPMS event. So specific to that, we got a few of them I put together, and maybe I'll do some videos on those too. But anyways, again, highly recommended, especially if you're a Corsair fan. I love these things. So tough, so resilient. The P-47s too, just tanks of the air. Hard to take down. So anyways, till next time, peace and love. Hi, just one quick follow-up. I had mentioned earlier that I had used the dark sea blue and the dark sea gray for the darker upper surfaces of the aircraft. And I didn't mention the other colors, though. So the light blue down the side of the fuselage is intermediate blue. Most people that are building, and it's called out in the kit too. Anyways, most people that are building these and know them would know this anyway. But intermediate blue for the light blue, and then insignia white for the bottom. And I also went back and redid that exhaust, got those installed. So now it's 100% complete. I also used a technique on the wing, the walkways right here, and one on the other side. That actually gives them some texture, and I doubt that is showing up. Maybe it does a little bit there. I don't know if it's focusing. I don't think it's focusing really well. Anyways, it gives them a little bit of texture, and maybe I'll do a video on that and how I accomplish that. And you know, to be fair, I found that technique on YouTube. So just going to spread it around, get it out there for other people that want to do the very same thing. Anyways, it leaves a really, really good convincing finish. I was a little skeptical at first. I had to work it some, but anyways, keep your eye out. Maybe I'll do a video on that. So once again, peace and love. See y'all later.